for my Stanford MBA. And yeah, we learned strategy and finance and business operations.
But the things that actually changed how we operate, they weren't buzzwords or balance sheets. They were actually mental frameworks.
These 3 frameworks that we're going to talk about today rewired how we think about business and also our personal life.
These are tools we still use today to make decisions faster, build smarter, and to just live better lives. Today, we're sharing 3 of the 6 most important tools taught at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. The first framework is design thinking. Sheree, tell us about design thinking.
So design thinking was invented at Stanford's D School, the design school, and it's completely reshaped how many companies, especially tech companies, approach problem solving.
So the whole big idea behind design thinking is that instead of designing around what you think the problem is, you need to design around what the user actually needs.
And I love design thinking because it literally works for any type of problem.
And the whole concept is that it's not at all about being a designer. It's actually about really empathizing with what the user wants and what the user needs so that you deeply understand them, and then you can start to build from that place of empathy and understanding. The reality of it is that most products fail not because they're badly built, but because they're actually solving the wrong problem.
And here's how it works. There are 5 steps. The first step is to empathize and talk to your users, understand them and understand what's frustrating them. The second is to define what's actually the root problem here. The third is to ideate. This is to brainstorm and don't censor yourself. No idea is too crazy or too out there. The fourth is to prototype. Build a scrappy, low-stakes version of what you think the solution could be. And fifth is to test. Put this in front of users and watch how they react. Watch how they behave and what they do, not just what they say. And next is framework 2, which is test and learn. Jean, can you tell us about this?
Yes. Okay, I love this one. Test and learn is a framework, but it's also very much just an entire mindset. This framework is taught in Stanford's Startup Garage. And the whole point of this is to stop waiting to be perfect, to just start trying things and being scrappy.
And for most students, and honestly most people, this is a giant wake-up call because everyone is so used to being perfect and thinking about the strategy instead of just going out, putting out something scrappy and just doing it and trying it.
And the biggest lesson here, which is kind of a little bit controversial, is that a lot of times your really well thought out business plan is nothing more than a fantasy. And the main takeaway from this framework is that your MVP, or what's called the minimum viable product, is what actually teaches you everything you need to learn to build out your product. Okay, Sheree, now let's move on to framework 3. It's reversible versus irreversible decisions. Take it away.
Okay, let's talk about decisions and decision making. This one is pretty famous and called the Bezos framework, and it's a little bit spicy because supposedly this is what they use at Amazon.
Infamous memo that Jeff Bezos wrote a million years ago, which was about type 1 versus type 2 decision making, where type 1 is irreversible and then type 2 is reversible.
And the gist is that people usually treat every decision like they're exactly the same, that they're all irreversible decisions. And what that does is that makes decision making a lot slower, and that's actually what kills innovation. Okay, so important decisions should be type 1. They should be irreversible, like hiring the first engineer, the first person on your team. That's pretty important, and you need to get that right, so that would be an irreversible decision. Experimenting with something on your website, changing the color of a button, that's type 2, that's reversible. You don't have to give those type of decisions as much brain power because you can just experiment, test and learn, and move on.
Yeah.